The summer sun beat down on the ranch as the HOA, in yet another demonstration of arrogance, continued their pattern of intrusion. Karen, persistent as ever, cruised repeatedly through my property, apparently seeking to assert control, mark territory, or simply provoke a reaction. Her repeated incursions were not only illegal but a flagrant violation of the privacy, boundaries, and security that I had spent years maintaining. I observed her movements from the vantage point of the pond lodge, analyzing her route, timing, and methods. Each pass through the ranch was calculated on her part, but I had the advantage of preparation, terrain familiarity, and forethought. While she assumed dominance through audacity, I recognized the opportunity to neutralize the threat in a manner both strategic and effective. Rather than confronting her directly with anger, which would have played into her expectations, I devised a countermeasure that was both subtle and decisive. I selected a precise location along her route for excavation, creating a well that intersected the path she habitually used. The positioning was deliberate, ensuring that it disrupted her unauthorized movements while posing no risk to the property or any authorized personnel. The well itself was reinforced and safeguarded, both physically and legally, so that any encounter with it would demonstrate both control and consequence. When Karen next drove her vehicle along the route, the unexpected obstruction forced a halt. The reaction was immediate: confusion, hesitation, and frustration. Her assumptions of freedom of movement were shattered by the reality of my preparation. She had treated my land as though it were communal property, blind to the consequences of her repeated violations. The well became a tangible barrier, a symbol of the boundaries she had ignored, and a reminder that intrusion carries consequences when faced with foresight and strategy. Throughout the day, I monitored her movements, ensuring that she could not bypass the obstacle or escalate the situation. Every action she attempted to circumvent the excavation was anticipated and countered with precision. I documented her responses, noting her hesitations, attempts at negotiation, and eventual acknowledgement of the obstacle. This record became a comprehensive account of her audacity, the failure of her assumptions, and the effectiveness of measured, deliberate action in maintaining control over one's property. The terrain itself served as an ally. The rolling fields, uneven paths, and surrounding vegetation guided movement in predictable patterns, ensuring that any unauthorized access intersected with prepared defenses. The well, combined with natural barriers and reinforced access points, created an environment in which intrusion was not only difficult but immediately obvious, reinforcing the sovereignty of the land and the authority of its guardians. By evening, Karen's repeated passes ceased, and the area returned to calm. The well stood as a silent sentinel, a reminder of the consequences of overreach and the limits of assumed authority. The livestock grazed peacefully, the pond reflected the fading light, and the farm itself seemed to settle into a state of quiet vindication. Reflecting on the day's events, it became clear that preparation, patience, and strategy were more powerful than confrontation alone. The HOA's persistence had been neutralized not through direct conflict but through thoughtful action, leveraging knowledge of the terrain, timing, and behavioral patterns. The well was more than a physical obstacle. It was a demonstration of foresight, control, and the consequences of intrusion. As night fell, the farm settled into tranquility. The lights of the lodge cast a warm glow across the fields, the reservoir mirrored the stars, and the wind whispered through the trees. Karen had been outmaneuvered, her audacity met with strategic precision, and the integrity of the ranch was preserved. The lesson was unmistakable. Repeated intrusion, no matter how bold, would always encounter calculated resistance, grounded in knowledge, preparation, and authority. By the time the ranch fell completely silent, the well remained in place, the routes secured, and the boundaries clear. Karen's movements had been curtailed, and the farm's sovereignty reaffirmed. This was not merely a victory of action but a testament to strategy, foresight, and the enduring principle that property, preparation, and authority, when combined, are unassailable. The ranch, its inhabitants, and its lands were once again secure, untouchable, and sovereign.